You tell yourself the earth keeps secrets, that if you dig deep enough, if you pack the dirt tight, what you bury stays buried. But it doesn't. You can smell it on your clothes. You can taste it in the back of your throat. Some nights you swear you hear it whisper under the floorboards, reminding you what you did. You thought you were hiding a mistake, but you planted something worse, and it's coming back up, one piece at a time.
This isn't just horror, it's your worst thoughts, and your best chance to taste them without leaving your bed.
You were 12 when your cousin died. Not even a teenager, just old enough to help carry a lie. Now you're 36, and the grass behind your mother's house still doesn't grow right. The rest of the yard is patchy but alive. Dandelions popping up like stubborn little orphans. Crabgrass tangled around old bricks and rusted bottle caps. But that spot, the one just past the old pine tree, never really came back. It stays sunken and damp, like the earth remembers more than it should, like it knows. You try not to look at it as you carry the last of your mother's boxes from the back of the truck to the porch. The wind stirs, and something dead flickers in the air. Wet leaves, old wood, the coppery stink of rot under bark. The house smells like mildew and freezer burn, and whatever years of grief do to a woman who never let anything go. You never expected to inherit the place. You told the lawyer you didn't want it, but he said she left it to you anyway. Everything. The land, the shed, the house, the backyard. He paused before that last part, like it meant more than the rest. Maybe it does. The back door creaks open with that same awful screech it always had, like a pig being strangled. The kitchen hasn't changed. Yellowed wallpaper, linoleum curling at the corners, a brown refrigerator with a magnet shaped like a rooster holding a Bible verse. Be sure your sin will find you out. You stare at it longer than you should. Your cousin Jacob wasn't a bad kid. That's what you keep telling yourself, even now, even when the dreams come back. The ones where his head splits open again, like it did on the rocks, skin flayed back like raw meat, blood spilling down his temple in rhythmic spurts, like it was keeping time, like it was ticking. That's the detail you can't shake, the way the blood spurted in pulses, like the wound had a heartbeat. Every time you close your eyes too long, it comes back. Tick, tick, tick. You read metronome in your memory. You told yourself it was an accident, because it was. Kind of. You'd been fighting over the walkie-talkie, one of those cheap plastic ones with a cracked antenna and a sticker that said Extreme Gear in bright red bubble letters. You'd dropped it near the ridge behind the property, the one with the sharp rocks where the runoff pooled during summer rains. And Jacob, always the better climber, reached for it first. You pushed him. Not hard, not to hurt, just enough to say, me first. And then his foot slipped. And then his chin hit stone. And then the world opened up. His skull made a sound you've never heard anywhere else since. Not on TV, not in horror movies. Not even when you watched that deer get hit on Route 12 and it screamed like a person. Jacob's skull cracked like a melon filled with warm soup. He didn't scream. He just blinked, like he couldn't believe it either. You ran. You told your mother. And that's when everything changed. She didn't cry. Not really. She looked out the window, real slow, and said, "Well, we can't unring the bell." Then she told you to get the shovel. You avoided at first. The shed, that is. It's just sitting there behind the house, like it always was. Tilted a little left, like something heavy inside, leaned too long in one direction. The padlock's still in place. So is the chain, rusted stiff from years of wet seasons and neglect. You'd almost think it's harmless, except it's not. It's never been. It was your mother's domain, the one place you weren't allowed growing up. Spiders, she said. Rusty tools. Nothing in there for a boy like you. She'd smile when she said it, like she was doing you a favor. But you remember that summer. How she changed after Jacob died. How she spent hours out here, scrubbing, burning, nailing up those wooden boards like she was sealing a tomb. And how you weren't allowed back there for weeks. You find the key in her nightstand, buried under a stack of expired pharmacy bottles and a packet of Polaroids, rubber banded together with a strip of old pantyhose. You don't look at the pictures. Not yet. Your hands shake too much. The padlock fights you when you try to open it, as if it knows who you are. But eventually, it clicks open with a dry, reluctant snap. Inside, it's worse than you remember. The smell hits first. Not strong, but thick. Damp wood, wet paper, something old enough to sour but too dry to rot. A box fan sits in the window, half embedded in duct tape and mouse droppings. Cobwebs hang like lace. Tools line the walls. Hammers, garden shears, a bone saw you never knew she owned. There's a rug in the center. Not a real rug. A kid's rug. The kind with cartoon cars and little roads printed on it. You remember it. It used to be in your room. Under it, something solid. You peel the rug back. The floorboards here don't match the rest. Newer wood, paler, too clean. You knock your knuckles against it. It echoes. There's something hollow underneath. You dig with your fingers. Find the edge of the plank. Pull. And there it is. A small chest. Metal. Lockless. Dented in the corner, like someone kicked it in a hurry. You open it. Inside, a cassette tape labeled June 19th, 4:12 p.m. A plastic ring with a Spider-Man face on it. The one Jacob wore everywhere. A photo of the two of you, arms slung around each other, both smiling too big for the camera. His eyes looked tired. A length of rope, red-stained, cut. And at the very bottom, a piece of scalp. Hair still attached, curled, dried to the texture of straw. You don't scream. You just sit there, staring at the little lock of Jacob, and realize you're sweating so hard, your hands are dripping. Your mother didn't save memories. She saved evidence. You don't remember recording anything, but your fingers are already reaching for the tape like they belong to someone else. You still have your old Walkman in a box somewhere. It's in your bedroom closet. You saw it earlier, right next to the shoebox of report cards and the carved bird Jacob made you in shop class. You press play, and you hear your voice, small, high, panicked. He hit his head. It wasn't supposed to be. He was still breathing, I think. I didn't mean to. I swear, I think he's still down there. I think I saw him move." Then silence. Then your mother's voice. "You didn't see anything. You understand? He's not moving anymore." A pause. "If we tell, they'll take you away. You want that? You want to be locked up like your father." And finally, "Now help me dig." You rewind the tape, play it again, and again. Somewhere outside, the wind stirs the pine trees, and a branch scrapes the roof of the shed with a long, dragging hiss. It sounds like someone whispering through their teeth. You step out of the shed, slowly. The door creaks shut behind you. You look at the soft patch of earth under the pine tree, and you swear it looks like something's breathing down there. Not really. You lie in your old bed, the one with the crooked headboard and the spring that creaks like a wet breath every time you shift your weight. The mattress still sags in the middle, still smells faintly of dust, mildew, and whatever your mother cooked so often it sunk into the walls. Onions, pork fat, boiled coffee grounds. The tape plays in your head like a lullaby from hell. He hit. He was still breathing. He's still down there. I think I saw him move. You don't remember saying that, but it's your voice. You can hear it now in the same way you can smell blood, even after it's been washed away. Some part of you knew. Some part of you knows. At 3:17 a.m., something scratches beneath the floor. Just once. Just loud enough to snap you fully awake. You don't move. Don't breathe. You stare at the ceiling, where a brown water stain has spread into the shape of a crooked hand. When the sound doesn't come again, you swing your legs over the edge of the bed and walk barefoot to the back door. It's cold enough that the screen sticks when you push it open. Outside, everything's still. The pine trees sway, but nothing rustles. No crickets, no frogs. Just wind through needles and the faint sound of breathing. Number, not breathing. Shifting. You step out into the grass and your heel sinks. It's the patch behind the tree again. The sunken ground. But now it's softer. You kneel, dig with your fingers. Dirt gives too easily. It's been turned. Recently. You're not the one who disturbed it. There's something lying at the surface, half covered in loose soil. You reach in and pull it out. A tooth. Small. Yellowed. Cracked at the root. You drop it. Scramble back, but your hand touches something else. Something slick. You pull that too. It's Jacob's ring. Spider-Man's face is scraped almost clean, but you'd know it anywhere. He wore it every day. Slept in it. Fidgeted with it during long car rides. He wasn't buried with it. You remember, because you kept it. It was in your drawer for years, until one day, it disappeared. Now it's back, and it came up from the ground. The next morning, you find more. By the tree, a zip-up hoodie, muddy and torn at the elbow. You recognize the patch on the shoulder. Camp Broken Ridge, 2001. In the shed, a child's drawing you don't remember making. 2 stick figures standing near a tree. One is smiling. The other has X's for eyes and red marker all over its face. There's a hole in the ground beneath them. The smiling one is holding a shovel. Your name is written across the top in crayon. You try to call someone, anyone, but the phone lines are dead. Your cell has 1 bar of signal that won't hold long enough to dial. You walk up the hill behind the house to get reception, but the higher you climb, the more the air thickens, like walking into syrup. You stop halfway, turn around. From that height, the backyard looks wrong. The shape of the sunken earth is clearer now. It's wider than you remember, longer, almost like a body stretched out beneath the soil, arms curled in, knees bent. The fetal position. Jacob wasn't lying straight down there. He was buried, scared. And maybe he's not buried anymore. That night, you hear it again. Scratching. Louder this time. And closer. You step into the hallway, heart hammering, and the lights flicker once, then twice. Then they go out. In the dark, you hear it. "We didn't mean to," a voice says, "but you did it anyway." It's your voice again, but the mouth it's coming from is behind you. The next morning, you wake to the back door wide open. No wind last night, no storm, just the smell of something freshly turned. The shed door is open too, its chain swinging gently like a pendulum. You don't go inside. You already know what you'll find. The box. Empty. You walk to the backyard in your bare feet. The grass is wet with dew, and under that, the soil gives like a sponge. The patch behind the pine tree. It's caved in, a full foot deeper than before. What's worse is the hole in the center, wide enough to crawl through, rimmed in loose stones and clawed-out roots. Something came up. Or someone. You crouch and find a scrap of fabric snagged on a root. It's flannel, blue and green plaid, a shirt your cousin wore that summer, when the air was thick with gnats and the heat made everyone mean. There's blood on the collar. Dark, dry, brown-black and crumbling at the edges. You turn it over. The tag still has his name written in Sharpie on the inside, Jacob D. Your stomach twists. You look around. The woods are quiet. The shed still swinging its door like an invitation. And then you hear it again. Not from the hole, from the house. Footsteps, upstairs. You know you're alone. Inside, the air has changed. Heavier, like someone lit a dozen candles and let them burn down to the wick. The hallway feels longer. The wallpaper on the second floor is curling in sheets like it wants to be peeled back, and the smell, sweet, not decaying. More like sugar that's been burned, or jam left too long in the sun. You follow the noise. Upstairs, the door to your childhood bedroom is closed. Not all the way. Just enough to show it wasn't like that when you went to bed. Your hand shakes as you push it open. The bed is empty, but the sheets are folded down. Tidy. Deliberate. Like someone got up and left, or was waiting for you to lie down. On the pillow, you see it. A red plastic Spider-Man ring. It wasn't there yesterday. It wasn't in the box. And yet, here it is, gleaming like it just came out of a cereal box. You step back, and the closet creaks open. On its own. And then, you smell it. Dirt and iron, and something old and buried and remembered. You leave the house. You don't run. You walk, stiff-legged, like something might break if you move too fast. The shed calls to you again. This time, you answer. Inside, the floorboard is loose again. Not where you left it. Not how you left it. The plank's been moved. The hollow underneath is empty. Except for one thing. A shovel. Your old one. The handle duct-taped. The blade rusted but still sharp. And there's a note, written in crayon. You said you'd come back. This is the moment. You stand at the edge of the sunken patch where Jacob was buried. You can see where the earth gave way. You can see the trail where something crawled out and walked toward the house. You can feel the blood pounding in your ears again. Tick, tick, tick. You haven't heard the last of it. Not unless you finish what your mother started, or undo what she forced you to bury. Your decision. You kneel beside the hole. The soil is soft. The shovel is warm in your hand. Do you dig? Do you pull him up? Call the police? Let the truth crawl into daylight and damn your family name for good? Will they believe it was an accident? When they find the drawings, the tape, the bones, will they care? But maybe that's what justice looks like. Maybe it's not about what you lose. Maybe it's about what he lost and what you still carry. Or do you bury it all again? Pack the soil back down. Burn the tape. Board up the shed. Say nothing. Live with it. Like your mother did. Like the house wants you to. Or maybe you don't have to decide tonight. Maybe you just sit beside the hole, like a child by a grave, waiting for something to climb back out and tell you what to do.
New nightmares. Every week, subscribe if you want to know what happens next.